But if we're trying to address the issue, which to me I think is the primary challenge of South Africa, which is economic growth, then you need the capitalists to be in the political decision-making equation. Whether they are there on their own, or they are there with the workers, or they are there with the poor, they have to be central to that, because they are the only ones who know how to grow the economy. And for us to address the stagnation, the poverty, the unemployment, we need the capitalists to feel that their interests are protected, their ownership, their assets are secure. Let me give you an example, which is what happens when you have middle-class parties like we have in South Africa. Many years ago, the South Koreans decided that there is a certain size of ship that was not being built, which they called a small tanker. But actually it's a 30,000 ton ship, which is very big. They said nobody's building these tankers. So they decided that they want to come and build this ship in South Africa. So I was asked by the ambassador to work with them and to help them look at how they go about this. So I went to Transnet, to their Portnet division, and I said, this is what these folks want to do. Can you help them? So we set up a working group with the Koreans. The company was called Daewoo Shipbuilding and Engineering Company.
Right.
So we worked together with Transnet. We looked at where they would place a shipyard. Shipyard is a massive installment, as you know.
Absolutely, yeah.
So they kept asking me, what about our property rights? Are property rights safe in South Africa? So I said, you don't have to worry, our constitution. So I read them the parts of the constitution. So one day I get called by our Korean partner to say, the main shareholder, the president, wants to see you in Seoul. So I said, sure, I'll pay for myself. I'll go and see the president. And the president of Daewoo Shipbuilding was a Korean development bank.
I see.
So I flew off and went to see the guy. And he took me out for lunch, just him and me, and wanted assurances about the security of property rights in South Africa. And I gave him all assurances. Then I come back and we identified Richards Bay as being where the shipyard was going to be built.
Yeah.
Then, unrelated to what we're doing, the ANC kicks out its president, which was President Mbeki.
Right. Okay. So this is...
So now the Koreans come to me now I got interviewed. Okay, this is what happened. I got interviewed by the Star as to what do I think about President Mbeki being kicked out. So I said, this is unconstitutional. And I spelled why it was unconstitutional.
Sure.
So the following day I get a call from the Koreans. They said, your constitution can't protect your president. How is it going to protect our shipyard? We're out of here. And that was the end of the project. So, you see, the middle class doesn't care about the production environment because they live off state revenues, the tax system and so on. They don't care about whether Daewoo Shipbuilding rights are protected or Daewoo Shipbuilding feels assured that they are protective right. They pointed out to me that a shipyard has a lifespan of 50 years. So they have to be assured that in 50 years their property rights will be.
Yeah.
Now you have seen the ANC passes an expropriation law, not just expropriation, but without compensation. So then if you are a foreign investor, how do you feel about your asset in South Africa? You see, this is one of the problems of having government by the middle class who don't own any assets themselves. They have no consciousness of the importance of property rights. But property rights are fundamental to job creation. They are fundamental to the environment. They are fundamental to the development of an economy. And this is why the absence of the capitalists from our body politic as a major player is a huge problem for us and for the development of our economy. And that has to be addressed. The middle class are not interested in it. Even the white middle class are not interested in it.
What do you think we need to do to actually grow this economy at the kind of rate that we need to grow it at? I suppose another way of asking that is, what do you think such a party would have to advocate for? Because it does seem to me that we have a lot of ingredients to be a very dynamic economy, even a very dynamic region. And of course, we've been stagnating for, goodness knows how long now. Mm-hmm. So what do you think it is that we need to do? And just finally, to build on what you've said, we do also have this massive inequality and poverty that we need to grapple with. And I appreciate that you are not a big fan of BEE, clearly, or of more direct measures like expropriation without compensation. But then how do we grow the economy while making sure that as we grow, we don't just maintain the patterns of inequality that have already been etched into our economy?
Well, as you say, the inequality in our economy is etched into the economy. It is etched into our history. Why did we get this inequality? We got our inequality in South Africa, if I can put it, by creating artificial scarcity of skills, of skilled people, of professionals, of artisans. That's why we have so much. That's what's at the bottom of the inequality of South Africa. In the 19th century and in the 20th century, there was a creation of scarcity by restricting professions to whites only.
Sure.
So that created an artificial scarcity of skills and of professionals. So their salaries, those who created that artificial scarcity, their salaries shot through the roof because they were scarce. What has happened after democracy, this system has continued. The system of continued artificial scarcity. Our education system hasn't been changed to mass produce skilled people. If anything, if you look at the Asians, Asia mass produces skilled people. That's why Asia is more equal. China every year produces 600,000 engineers. So there's no premium on being a skilled person. In South Africa, there's a huge premium because there are very few of you. Our education system suppresses the production of skilled people. And hence this. So where do we go then? Having said that, where we have to start, which is what a political party controls, we have to start with the civil service. The South African civil service is the highest paid in the world as a percentage of GDP.